You know, I heard for almost a year while I was on the street, you're the only one that lived. You're the only one that lived. It was amazing to somebody. I was the only one that lived. I thought maybe I was just picking up something for somebody else. Is it connected to the 106? Is it connected to the 106 that was coded into the 1993 Budget Reconciliation Omnibus Act? And that there were certain people that were set up to intentionally default on their student loans so that we could be trafficked into being used in various stages of a long-term capital outlay process connected to bioengineering people for the digital economy, as I contended was what the Affordable Care Act was about. And because I did not agree to normalize and legitimize prostitution for bourgeois women at the University of Chicago, I was immediately slated for a refinancing into being tortured into a specific kind of bioengineering, a more, shall we say, accelerated course that was meant to ultimately be disposable. And so that they could use me and a archetype, or shall we say, a physiological likeness to me, and create the material conditions for making a kinder, gentler, more subtle form of bioenhancement for women that qualified, including women that may have been some sort of, I don't know, potential mate for somebody that had already been genetically identified as available for potential leadership. And I just wasn't allowed to be identified for leadership because if you're going to engage me in processes of biological engineering in order to engage a digital economy, then you're going to need to disclose your sources of financing. And you're going to need to discuss with me terms around my involvement in any processes of experimentation, as well as any compensation. And whoever it is that is financing your projects, what the authority is, what the safeguards you have in place are, and to whom I would be connected when it comes to any processes involved with the processing of the digital finance so as to verify and authenticate whatever would be considered the deposits. Not to mention, we'd have to address adjustments to currency as well as participation in foreign exchange, and to assure that it's not used in acts of money laundering and or allowed to be hacked strategically so that I could be stolen from, so that it could be used to cover up for crime committed by people that had infiltrated public office with a nefarious political agenda and had every intention of covering their asses by stealing from me. And so for that reason, I'm not allowed to be in leadership. But how many people from how many different places did you force bioengineer and then just tend to eliminate from consideration? Did you literally set up a group of people from my generation to be coded into intentional default so you could force them into 25 years of slave labor for the Department of Treasury while we were trafficked through fraudulent medical treatment regimes we didn't actually need, so we could be harvested for R&D, for product development up to and including weapons, but primarily to be made commercially, financially, sexually available? And did you make archetypes or prototypes and duplicates of the programs you came up with in connection with us and then distribute them to other people who may or may not actually look like us or be genetically connected to us, but for whatever reason had met some sort of political deterministic standard of viability? Did you literally kill off all the others except for me? I see. Did you identify specific political leadership paradigms around the world that you wanted to target for political assassination after you extorted them following processes of forced bioengineering? Did you just get fucking busted for that? Did you get the National Security Administration to agree to reverse engineer that last year with that bullshit patch of Microsoft Office? How many other people did they seize a desktop from so they could harvest us in an extortionate scheme to redistribute to whom? Did you end up screwing up and or intentionally manipulating the economies of other countries who had their own 106 benchmark, including in association with provision of services for women and children in their own society, and or around tariff schedules that had already been predetermined.